Happy International Women's Day. My name's Gill Lever. I'm the UK Deputy High Commissioner in Abuja. This year's theme for International Women's Day is accelerating action for gender parity. And you may not know this, but the World Economic Forum says it will take us 5 generations until 2158, that's the 23rd century, at current rates of progress before we might achieve gender parity. Women are the hidden gems of transformation. Today we're going to be calling upon policymakers to accelerate action to include women in the economic, political and social policy aspects of life in Nigeria. Today I'm in discussion with 2 incredible Nigerian women who are accelerating action in business and social inclusion spheres. I'm delighted to introduce Mobola Sagoe, beauty and cosmetics entrepreneur and founder of the Shea Women's Association of Nigeria. Also introduced to you Jennifer Abomnger, a climate justice, disability rights and inclusion activist and beneficiary of a UK-sponsored Women of the South Speak Out Fellowship, aka WOSO. Thank you very much for joining us. I want to ask you both, maybe starting with Mobola, what inspired you to start your journey in business?
I just thought I must come back home to put something together and begin to work with the natural ingredients that we have here in Nigeria. So we started the work with the women, started in 2014. Fortunately, ITC, WTO became part of the event as well, such as working with those women, empowering them, letting them know that the quality of the butter they had at the time is not exactly what we'll be able to use in our product. So we started the training. I was encouraged because the level of poverty they were dealing with at the time wasn't something they should be dealing with, knowing that they have gold in their hands. So I'll make it short because I was totally inspired. My beauty training inspired me to go and look for products. From the products, the women inspired me to begin women empowerment training. And so today we're at it. We're still going on.
Yes, it's still going, yeah. Fantastic journey that you've been on as well. And Jennifer, in your case, what inspired you to take the path of advocacy for the less well-advantaged?
My inspiration stems from my personal experiences as a young woman with a disability, and as someone who desired a community of support, desired a platform where I could get the kind of support that I needed to elevate myself. You see, becoming a person with a disability at quite a young age was new to me. It was kind of strange. It happened at a time in my life when I thought, okay, this was it. I'm heading towards adulthood. And I was 18 when I became a person with a disability. And at that time, I barely knew a lot of people with disabilities in positive lights. You see, coming from a society where disability is seen from a point of disadvantage and all. So becoming a person with a disability means your life is over. Your life has stopped. And from my family to friends, there was really there wasn't much support, because the only thing they wanted was for me to get well, get healed, get walking again. While the doctor said, this is the best we can do. You can walk again. And it was quite traumatizing for me to see that if I don't walk or if I can't walk, I'm not able to be part of the society anymore. So my inspiration basically came from the point where I needed to prove, firstly to my family, that I was still capable of achieving my dreams. I just needed to prove to the world that I was still very much of a human.
I think that's an incredible story, and to show a great story of resilience and coming back from adversity. And it's interesting that in your very different ways, you've both talked about the barriers that you've surmounted or helped other people surmount, and the kind of prejudice that you encountered, the sort of assumptions that you couldn't become the person with the ambition that you had because you'd become disabled when you were, in your late teens, and you triumphed over that. And I think, Mobola, you were talking about working with women who had gold in their hands, who had this commodity, but didn't have the kind of expertise or the understanding or the confidence or the kind of microfinance to kind of really get that business going. So I think it's very sort of interesting. I mean, I wanted to ask you both actually. There's these prejudices that people, or the women in particular, encounter. I don't know what you think, Jennifer. Whether it's a sort of almost like a double whammy. If you're a woman with a disability, that it's more difficult to be a woman as well when you have a disability. And what you think, actually, Mobola, about being a woman in business. Whether there are kind of barriers there for women that don't exist for men.
I must tell you, even in the Shea industry on its own, the barrier is there. Over the years, we fought the battle of trying to say that we want a women's association that would work for the women. And we also have the National Association that is telling us that we cannot set up our own association as women. So for me, it's been a lot of struggle because Nigeria as a whole, where in our sector, in the shea sector, we're having issues of women. We in the shea sector, number one, women own shea. So we shouldn't be having issues with men telling us we cannot take over the industry that belongs to us. We cannot showcase what we are doing as women when the men are supposed to be showcasing it for us. When you look at Shea and they say Shea is women's gold, and you begin to think, okay, who is promoting Shea in Nigeria? The men are promoting Shea. All of a sudden, the women now want to start promoting what belongs to them so that they can showcase it better. And you're being told, oh, no, no, no.
No, I think what you said goes to the very heart of empowerment, giving women the confidence to sort of stand up for themselves and say, no, it's my product. I'm selling it. I need the profit. And really kind of push back on this idea that you're at the bottom of some sort of food chain. Very interesting. And Jennifer, on your side, we were talking about sort of maybe a double whammy if you're a woman with a disability. I mean, what do you think about that, or is that not the case?
Yeah, of course. Living in a patriarchal setting, of course, that we live in Nigeria, there's always there are these disparities that exist. Even coming from a community as ours, where you would think the situation will be different, but I think it's even more exacerbated in our community because women with disabilities get to face like double layers of this disability, of the marginalization and discrimination. First, you get to be discriminated on the basis of your gender, on the basis of you're a woman, and then secondly, they are discriminated for or marginalized as women with disabilities. And it's so hard to see that even the laws do not recognize the double layers of barriers that women with disabilities face.
So thank you very much. It's been such a great and rich conversation with you both. To sort of come back to where we started out with Accelerate Action for 2025 International Women's Day, and that point about it taking to the 23rd century to achieve full gender parity. It makes my blood run cold. It's 5 generations from now. If you had one thing or one decisive step that you could take now in commerce and in social justice, and there was money, there was political will, there were no barriers, what would that step be that would accelerate some of the action that we need to see? Mobola and then Jennifer.
We have to be really deliberate, I believe. We have to be completely focused on the different agenda that we plan to move on to as women. And it is also very important that in accelerating and moving on to the next level for women have to come together and not compete, but co-compete, as in collaborate as women in the different sectors. Because when you find out men tend to collaborate, whether they are an engineer or a doctor, but they collaborate somehow. So in collaborating, in competing in business is very key for women at this point in time, because we now understand our strength. We know our strength. It's time to move to that next level where, oh, Jennifer, you can do this. Okay, in my sector, this is what we do. So we engage each other and we take it to the next level where if we need to do some form of advocacy to the government, we do that. So I believe being deliberate in everything that we do business-wise is key, and
And co-peating,
focus, competing.
Co-peating.
Competing
It's a
is
new
very
word,
key.
I like that. Co-peating,
Yeah.
And Jennifer, just briefly, what do you think? What's the one thing, if there were political will and no issue about resources, that you would advocate?
I cannot just think far away from what Mobola has said. The power of coming together as women to harness each other's powers, to harness each other's skills, to be able to see that this whole talk about equality, inclusion that we've spoken about, seeing it come to light. Seeing it come to life, because now we have all that we've ever wanted or all that we've ever asked for. So I cannot think about any other action that will be profitable more than collaboration or coming together. Collaboration.
Co-peating. Thank you very much. I mean, I've really enjoyed talking with you today. I've learned a lot, and it's been inspiring. It's an overused word, inspiring, but you really have both been very inspiring. And, you know, I want to sort of say to the decision makers and policy makers out there globally, women are the hidden gems of transformation. If we want to achieve a great leap forward in any society or economy, we need more inclusion from women, more political and women's empowerment. So happy International Women's Day, everyone, and please take away those thoughts from today's conversation. Thank you
Very much.
There we are.
Well done. Well done.
Thank you.
Accelerate action for gender equality.